Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of Team Training Tuesday, which I like to also call Applied Near Life, because we apply what we've got to real life. And hopefully at the end of the session, we are all wiser and know that the first success habit is to use the product. So hopefully we can use them appropriately rather than selling only. And now I would like to welcome the guests who are on this call this evening. My name is Esezan Ambasi. I'm a medical doctor by training. By passion, I love what we do in Near Life, which is to get onto the mission to make the world a healthier and happier place. And it starts with each and every one of us. Last week and the week before, I had presentations about the basics. And the first one was from inside out. And we began about the gut. We were talking about the gut and the importance, the crucial importance of gut health. And then last week we talked about from outside in, and we were considering the things that might cause us to become impacted and affected by environmental toxins. So I thought it was an obvious sequence to talk about detoxification and why it is important to detox regularly. And I'm just going to do a brief summary, but I have the utmost pleasure of having two other ladies join me as on this presentation, whom I will introduce and actually also ask them to tell us a little bit about themselves. One is already on the call. Let me just make sure that I can get the other one to be ready to speak to us. Otherwise, she won't be able to unmute herself. Okay, I'm not seeing her yet. Okay, there you are. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so we are all set to go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And why it is important to detox regularly is because of the fact that we live in the real world, which has lots of toxins. And we are all baffled and puzzled by a lot of various disease conditions. And toxins will lead to chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation can damage our bodies quite remarkably. So those are the 8 ways that chronic inflammation can lead to damage: memory loss and cognitive decline, increased cardiovascular risk, abnormal growth of otherwise healthy cells, in that they grow uncontrollably, and that's what we define as a malignancy or a cancer. Compromised digestion, loss of muscle tone, weight gain. That is actually a big and significant one, and I think we've been touching on it all along as being a sign of inflammation. Accelerated skin aging and joint pains and loss of mobility. Now, that should immediately tell us that perhaps if all those are as a result of inflammation, and inflammation can be due to exposure to toxins, it stands to reason that perhaps we should be detoxing regularly. And that's what we want to discuss today. Now, this is just a reminder that your body is the house in which you live. Your home needs, at the very least, periodic attention. Every function and activity of your system, all the time, day and night, be it physical, mental, and spiritual, is dependent on the attention you give it. In other words, it is your responsibility and my responsibility. So I just wanted to highlight different ways to detox. And I was thinking to myself, just like word of mouth and network marketing is the original form of detoxification. I strongly believe, I stand to be corrected, but fasting is one of the most basic and original forms of detox. So yes, fasting has a place, and now intermittent fasting is becoming very popular, whereby one eats in a narrow window in a 24-hour period, rather than what I have previously referred to as grazing through the day. And then the other way of detoxing is to exercise. Exercises that will work up a perspiration, things like aerobics, jogging. Another way is to use sauna. And then one can do dry brushing. That is a popular way, using some form of natural fiber to brush the skin. And also colon hydrotherapy. That is becoming very, very popular, but it is another original form of detoxing. Many of you would otherwise call it enema, okay? Colon hydrotherapy. I think that sounds more scientific and perhaps more acceptable. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight a few things about ongoing maintenance that everybody needs to be so aware of, and perhaps make a case for why we detox. Okay, the musculoskeletal system is responsible for our bones, muscles, and connective tissue. In other words, the mobility of this frame, this house. The nervous system, responsible for the health of the brain, for mood, sleep, and all executive functions. In other words, your capacity to think. And then the hormonal system, very, very important, responsible for all the communication in our bodies through glands that produce hormones, okay? And those literally run us. They tell us how stressed or otherwise to be. They create the sex hormones, and they have to work together in synchrony, in synergy, and it's like a big symphony orchestra, the hormonal system. And so that would be a good system to be so aware of and say, I need to know what to do to maintain my hormones functioning properly. And then, of course, fat and protein metabolism will impact weight management and fat distribution, and actually much further than that, even the immune system is impacted by that. So in order to avoid dis-ease, okay, please keep a close watch on these main functions. Carbohydrate metabolism, that controls the energy of the cells and how glucose is controlled, okay? And we are seeing a lot of people developing diabetes, particularly type 2 or adult onset diabetes. It is actually a function of carbohydrate dysfunction or dysregulation of carbohydrates. And then essential fatty acid metabolism will determine the pro and anti-inflammatory states of the body and the immune system as well. It regulates the immune system. And then the third system is detoxification. very, very important. And last week and the week before, we talked a lot about heavy metals and free radicals and the fact that they cause quite a lot of inflammation and oxidative damage. So with that preamble, I just want to point out important parts of our cells called the mitochondria that dwell within the cells, very hard-working cells. And so the poor mitochondria, if there are lots of toxins and one is not cleaning out that house, can become so bogged down by the amount of toxicity that the whole system will slow down and ultimately cease to function. And we can call that disease or dis-ease. So how do we know all this? We are privileged in this family to have the Scientific Advisory Board, which was founded by Dr. Arthur First, around about the mid-70s. And you can see them all there, the scientists, the current board. And the importance of the cellular nutrition is always emphasized by this product that was the foundational and the main product that sets this company apart, and that is called TRENN, grain oils that ensure that our cells remain healthy. So a healthy cell will allow nutrients in and toxins out, or waste to get out, versus an unhealthy cell, which won't allow any cells, any nutrients in, and the waste matter cannot get out. TRENN ensures that the cell membranes throughout our body, trillions and trillions of them, are constructed properly. And that's what sets this company apart. And that is for the benefit of the guests who are here. So yes, we have basic nutrition supplements for everyone. Both children and adults get the TRENN that we are talking about. And cellular detoxification is ongoing if you are on TRENN. So a detox program is almost like a spring clean, okay? When you decide that it is now time to clean out my house properly. Otherwise, every day you're sweeping, you're making sure that everything is put away in order, thanks to TRENN and all the other products that we have, the amino acids, the antioxidants, the omega-3. But now I want to start by highlighting this product, which one of the ladies on the panel will also talk about, and that is called BetaGuard. And I just want to say BetaGuard was formulated by Dr. Arthur First to be an antidote for the oral chemotherapy that he had researched and developed before coming to Near Life. Isn't that phenomenal? So BetaGuard forms the core of a detox program. And I just want to point out that Dr. Arthur First's signature is on the bottle of BetaGuard. So the next time you buy your BetaGuard, look at it and see carefully that signature. Yes, so it is so important to remember always that we are one with the environment. So by making sure that your immediate environment is nice and healthy, you can take care of that big factor called environmental toxins that we have had occasion to discuss. So I would like to introduce the panel. I'm the one talking here. My name is Dr. Esezan Ambasi. I've been a medical doctor for close on to 40 years. It's coming to 40 years. And what I have observed, and to me, it is no longer anecdotal evidence, it is real. A lot of us fall sick because of two main processes, that is toxins and poor nutrition. So I would like to invite my panelist called Margaret. She's going to introduce herself. And after that, we are going to hear from Joyce, who will give us a testimony. So yes, Margaret, you are welcome. I'm going to stop the share and invite you to tell us about Detox.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the call. My name is Margaret Amulavu. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. Before this business of health and wellness, I work for an international bank, and I'm excited to be here this evening. It has been an awesome time just being in your life for the last 26 years. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Dr.
Okay. So tell us about the detox programs. You know how to describe them so well, and everybody is wanting to hear what to do and why to do it and when to do it even. So you describe the different types of products and the detox programs.
All right. So will you be able to share the products for the first detox? So let me maybe say the different products the different options that are there. First of all, it will depend on where you are. Usually we say the minimum you can do it at least once a year, but once a year is just for an ordinary person working in a very ordinary environment. But there are people who work in very toxic environments. What do I mean by toxic? People who are in construction business, building, putting up roads, paints, chemical setups, industrial areas. Those kind of people may need to do at least twice a year to clean up their system, because toxins, we get them from different places. We get toxins from food. Some foods have got preservatives, things that help to keep the food on the shelf for longer. Those of us, especially in our African setup, would do the maize meal from the posho meal, and it would not even last a month. Within a month, it would go rancid. But yet the one that we find that is already packed and sifted can actually stay even 2-3 years. And it's still the same maize, and you're wondering, so what is the difference? And because of the sifting, then they've got to put something, a preservative, which is usually a chemical, to keep it on the shelf for the next 2-3 years, compared to one that is done in the posho meal, which has got no preservative, and as a result would get spoiled very easily. So most of the things that are refined, and they're usually white in color, they've added a preservative, which is usually a chemical, to keep it on the shelf for longer. So these foods that are staying on the shelf for longer are not for your own good or mine. They're very convenient, but that convenience is not convenience in terms of especially nutrition. It's convenience in terms of the pocket, because you spend less and you don't have to keep on going to shop. And so once you shop, you can keep it on the shelf for longer. But nutritionally, it is of no use. So from food, that is one of the places. So preservatives. Some foods have got colorants. Some of us eat things because we like the color. I don't know how many of us go and say, I like the color. Especially with drinks these days, there's red, there is green, there is even purple. Some colors we never actually thought were going to be possible to be put in drinks are actually there. So some of us are taking things that have got colorants, and the colorants are usually actually chemical done things. Then we've got things like additives, things that keep on making you eat and eat. I know that it's one very great ingredient that is found in mostly Chinese food. We call it MSG. And this particular item, when it's put in that food, you'll never get satisfied. You eat, and in a short while, you need to eat more. So it's an additive. You keep on wanting to keep on wanting to eat. So you never kind of get satisfied. So those are some of the things that are found in food that make it that a must, then we must detox, because those things have been put part and parcel of the food you and I are usually eating, and especially refined foods. Of course, then we've got the fast foods that are very quick. They're very quick to make. In fact, I found that less messy a food is to make, the less nutritional value it is. I mean, the faster you can make food, the less nutritionally value it is to you, and that's why it is fast, because it's fast food. It's just fast in the name that it's quick to make, but nutritionally it has nothing. Somebody has said we are an overfed society, but undernourished. Then, of course, we got the water that we drink. Most of the water that we drink has been distilled, or they've put something to try and clean it out, usually here chlorine. And chlorine, though is used to do it, is not a very good thing, because at the end of the day, it sorts out one thing but leaves another challenge. So the water that we are drinking, most of us, is not good water. Even sometimes we are having bottled water, and I can tell you from where we come from, especially in this part of Africa, some of the water that is bottled is actually tap water, and they've just taken a bottle and put a label. They found it a convenient way to pack, and there is no distilling that has been done there. So we are taking organisms that are found in water that are very difficult for the naked eye to see, but under a microscope, you'll be surprised to see the kind of things that we are putting in our mouths in terms of drinking water, because most of us just drink water, and there are some parts which are very challenged. They've got river water, they've got water that is not really good, not clean, and they're just using it. So part of the challenges, again, is from the water. Then the other pollutants are found in the air. And in the air, there is so much, from unmaintained cars to the dust. Each time there is heat and fumes. In the environment, there are very many factories. I remember there is an area in Kenya that I stayed in, and every morning you just see a cloud in the morning, which looked like an undercover under the cloud. And what I came to realize is that there were so many factories and industries there that was actually the pollution that had taken place at night, and night was trying to settle in the morning. And who are to it because the following day the process against us. So you can imagine you're in an area that is just having things in the environment. In fact, I remember there is one particular estate that they forced a whole company to close down because those people realized that since they moved to that estate, and unfortunately they bought a house there, but there was an industry next to them and their children were forever sick. They forever had allergies, they forever had coughs, flus that were not ending. And it was realized it was the things that were being emitted in the air in form of pollutants that these people are inhaling. And you see, like even if you walk on the streets and a car that has badly maintained emits smoke or the fumes, you cannot stop breathing. You're going to still breathe. And as you breathe, you can be sure you're going to take in some things that are not good for you. Then, of course, there are things like bad habits like smoking. And I know some people say, I don't smoke, but maybe you're around somebody who always smokes. And I can tell you the after fumes are actually worse than the person smoking. You're actually inhaling worse things because after they've taken the main thing, they're removing some waste that now you're the one in actually inhaling the waste. And so that is where we are getting the toxins from. Then, of course, lack of elimination. I've always wondered that people are very worried when they don't have a good appetite and they'll go to the doctor and say, you know, my appetite is not good, or a child, but they're not worried when they do not excrete or when they don't go for a long call. And I can tell you, out of every production process, there is waste that must get out. So if you're eating every day, surely you should be excreting every day. So lack of elimination, that's another big problem, because where is this waste going? It will go round and round the body, and one of these days it will settle in a place where it shouldn't. That's where we are getting the growths and the tumors, because that waste that should go out, we look for the safest place to store itself in, hoping that one day you're going to discover that if your elimination is not happening, something is seriously wrong. In fact, I think if you're not eliminating, it's probably more dangerous than a person not being able to eat, because that waste is definitely settling somewhere. Then there are also the things that we use, cleaning products. Some of us have got a chemist of detergents in the name of soap. You've got soap for the floor, soap for the toilet, soap for hands. And each of these soaps has got different fragrances or odors. Those fragrances are chemical things that you're inhaling. In fact, they say the woman who stays at home, who because of washing and cleaning, is more likely to get cancer than a working woman, because a working woman leaves the house and comes back. But one who is around the house is actually more likely to get those diseases because they are always under the sink. We are actually getting sick from the sink that we are thinking we are cleaning, with all these cleaning products that we are having, that each of them has got a different fragrance. And with each of them, you're inhaling something which is staying in your system. And then, of course, there are the things we apply, including things like makeup. There are some things there are some ingredients that are found in makeup that do not even allow our skin to breathe. And you know, your skin is the largest actually detoxifying organ, apart from your liver and the kidney. So most of us are applying things on the face to look good, but in the process, you have blocked the pores, so the skin cannot breathe. And you see, the skin is a living organ. The same way, if you don't breathe, you've got a problem. If the skin is not breathing, it already has a problem. So all these things we are applying in form of makeup and creams are actually blocking the pores, and therefore the skin cannot breathe. Some things with petroleum, you know, one of the things that I advise people on this call and who are distributors, kindly learn to read labels. Because usually labels have got everything, but most of us will not even read any label. We just take and apply and use because somebody else is doing it. So kindly let us take a bit more time when we go shopping, because everything is actually recorded. Then, of course, we've got the soft drinks. The soft drinks have got a lot of chemicals. I know they've said things like they don't put anything on the soft drinks. The soft drinks actually don't have the ingredients. And they say it's a trade secret. It is a trade secret, but a dangerous one, because they don't want to tell you what they've put in there that is making you keep on going and taking and taking. There's some of these soft drinks you take, and I don't want to go into labeling them because you understand them. The moment you start taking them, you'll never stop. You just find you are always thirsting and going on and on and on. Don't you think there's something in there that makes you keep on going back? And usually it is a chemical. So we are having all those things. And then the food that we are eating, the fertilizers that are being used, the artificial fertilizers. some of the things that are anti-weed, like I think there is one chemical I know that is used that is anti-weed. Before you grow anything, you've got to spray it on the soil. They call it Roundup. I think it's been banned for the last 40 years in all the other countries, especially the European countries. And in Africa, we are still using Roundup to try and kill weeds before we plant. And that particular one stays in the soil for 30 years. And I can tell you 30 years is not a short time. 30 years is already a grown person who already has a home if they were a child. And you can imagine people eating food from that soil with Roundup are going to take all those chemicals. So the pesticides we are spraying there, whatever we are trying to kill the insects and the weeds and the artificial fertilizers. So all those things that are growing those crops, we're actually taking them. So you and I can see from that already that we need to actually clean up our system, to clean it from inside. So we've got 3 types of detox, and I'm going to talk, I'll major on 2 because they're the ones that are available, especially in Africa. But I'll mention a 3rd one that is in other markets because we're in 55 countries of the world. And part of the markets in Europe, UK, US will still have this particular detox that is the 3rd one that I might not talk so much on, but I will highlight a few things about because you also need to know it because we get customers from all over. So the first one that is there, you actually use 5 products. And these 5 products are very key. One of them, Dr. Wesesa has really mentioned about it. And I'm not going maybe to talk in the order in which you take them, but I will actually just mention them. And we can see what gets projected maybe is what I can talk about. I don't know if Dr. Wesesa was able to do that, or I can just go on and talk about them. One of the products that she really touched on is BetterGuard. And BetterGuard is a product that is next to none. The research that went into it and the kind of things that it does, and also the minerals and vitamins that you find in BetterGuard, it's such a complete product that it will actually clean you and clean you totally. Some of the things that are found in BetterGuard are things like vitamin Bs. There are vitamin Bs that are very good for especially air pollution. Anywhere where there's air pollution, it will be good if you can get a vitamin B, and it's found in BetterGuard. Then you also have in BetterGuard, it's got zinc, a very good mineral for immunity boost. BetterGuard has also got carotenoids. Carotenoids are for immunity boosting. And carotenoids are the brightly colored fruits and vegetables. The greens, the yellow, the red, those are called carotenoids. They are brightly colored. And the major thing that a carotenoid will do is actually boost up your immunity. Also in that, in BetterGuard is beta-carotene. So there are so many things that are found in this BetterGuard that are just so amazing. And so you can see from just what I've said that BetterGuard is one of the products. It's actually the key product in detox because it is the one whose work is to actually collect the toxins. So what BetterGuard does, it goes into your system and collects especially heavy metals. There are some metals that don't leave your system. What do I mean like heavy metals? Something like sausages, they put something that is called nitrite, and I thank God today we've got an expert in the meat industry who will talk to us a little bit more about meat when I finish. And in the meat industry, something like a sausage, they already put nitrite to try and kill some of the organisms that are found in the pig that are not healthy for us. And in the process, they put a chemical called nitrite to try and destroy some of those organisms. But this nitrite is also carcinogenic. Carcinogenic means cancer causing. And all that is in the pack. But because we don't read and we don't even, after we read, we don't even know what we are supposed to read. Carcinogenic means it has got the potential to give you cancer. In fact, I think I remember in one of the markets in Europe, they actually banned a company because they said this company has made our children sick after eating what they produce because it's carcinogenic and it's causing cancer. So, but in this part of the world where you and I are in the African society, some of us don't even have the research, we don't have the data, and we don't know what has been put in, so we cannot go all the way to sue anybody for that. But since you already know it's your responsibility, a time has come when we are saying health is in your hands. It is you who is carrying the body, it is you who is putting the stuff in your mouth, so you need to know what it is that you're consuming. So BetterGuard again, so it collects heavy metals, things like that nitrite. Some of us are in societies, I remember before bottled water came, we used to boil water. And as we were boiling water, we were using what we call aluminium sulfurias. And this aluminium, if you have checked, it keeps on changing color as the water boils. It's not even a color change. The aluminium is actually chipping off. And these heavy metals tend to settle in the brain. I remember some time back as I was growing up, it was very difficult to hear somebody up country who's got a stroke or any mental things kind of a stuff, especially. But in these days, it is so common. Why? Because we have also roofed our houses with aluminium, and we are collecting drinking water from the roof as it rains, And as the rainwater is hitting the roof, it's also chipping off the aluminium. So as you collect that water, where you're storing it is aluminium, where it is hitting as aluminium. If you're heating the water, it's aluminium. So in the process, you actually have heavy metals. So BetterGuard will actually remove heavy metals. And that is why it is a very powerful product that helps to remove all the toxins. In fact, I remember that is one of the products that you need to use to just make sure that you also don't get cancer in the process, because those heavy metals are going to give us a problem. So BetterGuard is one of the key products to use when we are doing a detox. The other key product is called a multimineral plus alfalfa. And the same way we've got a multivitamin is the same way we've got a multimineral. And one of the things about multimineral plus alfalfa is that it's got what we call macro and micro. Macro are the major minerals you need. Micro are the very minimum. You need them in small percentages. And sometimes we call them trace minerals. Trace because they're needed in very small percentages. But if they are lacking, you can come up with a big problem. Something like what? Multimineral has got something like iodine. If you don't have iodine, you get a thyroid problem. And you know that the thyroid is a very key hormone in the body, because thyroid actually controls the temperatures in the body. So some people, they don't even have temperature control. They can't tell when the body system is heating up, when it's going down. They've got an up and down kind of a thing because their body temperature cannot control. So iodine, very, very key, because it will help with the thyroid. Some people also have gotten moody. They're just moody. There are people who are so upset, so annoyed, so irritable. It could be actually a problem with the thyroid. Also, when you have a thyroid problem, you're also going to come up with what we call depression. So you can see that the thyroid is so key in how it functions. So the multimineral, a very key product, because it's got those minerals that your body needs to be able to function. So the biggest thing that the multimineral does is actually to clean something we call the lymphatic system. Your body has got, let me say, 3 systems. There is the blood, the circulatory, the blood system. Then you've got the lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are like when you get hurt, you get a tonsil swelling on the joint of the hip. That is a sign to say that something is happening and the body is alerting you something is wrong. So the multimineral, thank you, Dr. Eseza, for that. It is the one right at the bottom here. And the work of this multimineral, it's got the micro and the macro. And so its work is to help the lymph nodes so that they are able to function well. And also because when we use BetterGuard, it removes almost literally everything as it is cleaning out. You need to replace the minerals that are also getting lost in the process. So multimineral, very, very key. And the biggest thing it does is actually give you those nutrients that you need in small percentages. But if you don't have them, then you've got a problem. So things like iodine, things like iron is also found here. I know we don't have an iron supplement, but we've got it in this multimineral. Things like zinc, those are minerals that if you don't have something like iron, if you don't have enough iron, then you become anemic, meaning you don't have enough red blood cells, so you don't have enough blood. The moment you don't have enough blood, you could end up with a heart condition, because it means that little blood that is in your system, the heart is trying to pump into all this body, and since it is too little, then the heart is overworking. So you can see that multimineral are very, very key products. So the biggest thing it does is especially the lymph nodes that are very key, and especially when it comes to infection, because they are able to alert the body. The other key product is their fiber tablets. And we've got fiber. The fiber that is on my right is the one that is available in the East African market. But in South Africa, they also have this other fiber. Now, this fiber here has got 2 types of fiber. There is insoluble fiber, and there is what we call soluble. You need the 2. The insoluble is found in things like nuts, things that are a little bit hard. The soluble is found like in fruits and vegetables. So you need fiber, because fiber helps especially with work in the colon. The colon is called the large intestine, and that is where all the dirt that does not leave the body. When I was telling you that when you don't excrete, when you don't go for a long call, all that dirt gets stored up in the colon. And that is why the colon gives us a problem, because if you don't have enough fiber, it does not form the lining that will allow things to slide from your mouth all the way to the other side and get out, other than get stuck in the colon. So the fiber, what it does, the same way we get mucus on the nose when you've got a cold or a flu, you also have a mucus lining in your stomach that allows food to slide easily down and get off. So that is very important that you have fiber, because if you don't have fiber, it means this food, as it's getting out, it's actually touching some parts of the large intestine wall and destroying, and in the process, you get what we call colon cancer. So fiber, very, very cute, because it's got the insoluble and the soluble. And this fiber is amazing. Actually, sometimes I say that one of the days we'll do a live session where we put the 2 fiber tablets. You're supposed to take 2 to 4, and it depends on your system. Why we say 2 to 4, the fibers work is to regulate your motion, how hard or how soft is dependent on the fiber. And then, of course, the colon. And then it helps you to fill up with smaller portions, because most of us eat until we are full, not satisfied. You're supposed to eat until you're satisfied. And I know somebody will ask me, is there a difference between being full and satisfied? Yes, there is. Satisfied is just enough, just what you need. Full is when there is no more space in your stomach to take in anything. And most of us eat until we are full. So one of the things that fiber does, it fills up a certain portion in your stomach. And so that portion it fills up, leaves a very small portion of the stomach space. And so you fill up with very, very little portion. So it's very good for weight management. Fiber also helps with sugar control issues. It acts like a sponge. If you've got too much sugar in your system, it will soak it up. If it is little, it just controls it. So fiber, very, very key. And usually take it a minimum of half an hour before one of your main meals. And that is how it works. And when you take fiber, you need to take a lot of water. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a very hard stool. That's one of the things about fiber. And then, of course, we've got this other fiber, the one that is done in South Africa. And you can see there it's got the fruits, it's got the nuts. And so there are different types of fiber depending on the market that you are in. But the basic thing is that you need to have fiber. You need to take fiber every single day. You require it. You really need the fiber. The other product that is very key on the detox is stage 6. And like I mentioned, that stage 6 actually got its name from the 6 stages of digestion. One of the things that I have been very passionate about Neolife, I grew up wanting to be a doctor, but I never got, I think I was given a frog to dissect, and that ended the desire to be a doctor, because once I couldn't dissect, I just said, I'm not able. And so for me, I think Neolife came to fill in the gap because I had the passion to do medicine. And I think that's why I love the products and I learned the way I did. So this particular product called stage 6 actually got its name from the final stage of digestion. We've got 6 stages of digestion. There is diet when you eat, then there is digestion. Then after digestion, the food goes to circulation. After circulation, it goes into absorption. After absorption, it goes into assimilation. And after assimilation, what is not used goes into elimination. So stage 6 is the final stage. And that's where this product got the name. It helps to make sure that whatever has been collected in the body gets eliminated. Because if it's like sweeping a house and leaving the dirt at the door if you're not using stage 6. And stage 6 is amazing because it's totally herbal, very good, laxative, very, very comfortable. You'll not keep on running to the toilet and getting diarrhea, because most people know that whenever you have got a stomach problem and whatever you're given, you keep on running to the toilet. That doesn't happen with stage 6 because it's a total herbal product. Very, very comfortable. So it will not give you the up and down and running to the toilet every now and then. And usually on the stage 6, there is a warning there. Don't take it for more than 7 days. And especially if you're using it as a laxative, maybe you've got a bit of constipation, very good for food poisoning, because it will help you get rid of things that are in the system very, very quickly. So stage 6 is the other product that we use for detox, so that we ensure that whatever has been collected in form of that gets out of your system. Then finally, we've got another product that is called garlic allium, and garlic is right here. And what garlic does, it actually deals with the small intestine. Now, in the small intestine is where we find bacteria. And there is good bacteria and there is bad bacteria. Not all bacteria is bad. And how do you know which of the two you have? If you're craving for sugar, you've got the bad bacteria. And that means you're going to get a lot of challenges. Most of the women get the candida issue, and we go and get candid bee cream, and you're always applying something during your cycle because there has been a destabilization. I could actually directly say that when you got candida issues, it's actually a gut problem. You need to address your gut. And there is no better product to do it than garlic, because it makes sure you've got the right bacteria, so you're not craving for too much sugar. And when it balances the bacteria in the gut, then you're good to go. So garlic allium, our garlic is exclusive, very well coated. It only opens up when it gets into the small intestine where there is the acid, and it doesn't have the after odor. It's not called a smell. I know we like to say the word smell. Smell is when something has got a bad odor. The right word is an odor. And I know most people don't like odor because they are saying this garlic, the odor it produces, even if you open your mouth, everybody knows. This one doesn't do that. And then the power of garlic is in actually that odor. An odorless garlic is totally of no use to you. So those of us going into markets and looking for odorless garlic, you're doing yourself a lot of disservice. You don't love yourself. You're just wasting your money. It is of no use. And this garlic is amazing because it's got the 3 types of onion family. It's got the chives, it's got the leeks, and then the onion. So it's not just the garlic itself that is there. So it's got the family of the onion family, and it's an amazing product. Garlic is also a natural antibiotic. Those of us who keep on getting things and we are keeping on going for an antibiotic, because the other antibiotic, when you take it, Immediately you finish the dosage, your system is down, your immunity is down. So it means it sorts out one thing and gets another. But with a natural garlic, you can use it through and through without a problem. So also the other thing the garlic does, it also removes the worms. We also have worms. You know, when children are small, we do deworming. But when we grow up, we are no longer doing the same. And yet we are putting all sorts of things in our mouths. You know, some of us, our bodies are like garbage bins. We throw in anything as long as it can go through. We have to start looking out for what we are taking. So garlic are very, very key products when it comes to detox, especially with the small intestine. And one of the things that is in garlic that is the key ingredient is called allicin. And allicin, when we crush or we cook garlic and heat it up, we have actually killed that particular herb. But in this one, it is well coated. It will only break open when it gets into your small intestine. Are very, very amazing. So those are actually the products. So the main products are Better Gut, you've got stage 6, fiber tablets, then you've got garlic, and then you've got multimineral plus alfalfa. Those are 5, and that is what are available, I think, in the whole of Africa. But we also have something called, there's another 3-day detox that is not available so much in our African market, but is available in the UK, most of the European market, and in the US. And with that particular one, the main product is called acidophilus. Acidophilus is known as a probiotic. The same way you've got antibiotics in forms of amoxicillin. So the name that is for acidophilus, to classify it, is a probiotic. And what it does, it actually just puts the right bacteria into your system. And it is an amazing, amazing product, but it is not available in the African market. We hope and believe that one of these days we are going to get it back, because it is a product like no other. It will sort out any digestive issue, from gas to bloating to constipation to all those funny E. coli things you get in your digestive gut. An amazing product. 1 tablet of the probiotic is equivalent to 10 servings of yogurt. And not the yogurt that we make that we've added sugar and color. Pure yogurt, an amazing product. So we've got that. It's called the Powerful Detox Program. You can see it there. And if you buy it, you're going to get all those 4 products in it. It's got the Better Gut, which I already talked about. We talked about the garlic, and I did talk about stage 6. So the only additional product that is here is acidophilus. And as a result of acidophilus being there, then they didn't have to put the fiber tablets in there. And so acidophilus, very, very amazing, because it balances the intestinal system and just makes sure that your digestive system is working well. And you see, your digestive system is called the second brain. The gut, you remember you say you must have guts. I mean, if you don't have a strong enough gut, if you're having issues with your brain, it's very likely it's related. Actually, it's not likely. Your gut and your brain work together. And that's why we sometimes call the gut the second brain. The other product, the other one more I want to talk about, the final detox program that is available. And I know most of us don't know, there's something called a half detox. And those of us who are able to get...
when you describe it, Margaret.
Sorry, Dr. Cesar.
We've gone a bit beyond the time I had hoped we would finish in. So
okay, so we can stop there.
Yes, because I would like us to thank you so much for that. That was so comprehensive. But for those who have never detoxed before, it's important to start somewhere and to know the key products that are required for a detox. And these are the top row: Better Gut, stage 6, garlic, and to make sure that you have adequate fiber, and multi-mineral to replace the minerals that are chelated out, and also to drink plenty of water. That is so important. Make sure the quality of your water is good. Okay, so now I'm going to request Joyce. Joyce, if you can please show us yourself so that yes, you can give us your testimony, and then we shall close.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Cesar, and hello everyone on the call. My name is Joyce Gishuru, calling from Mombasa, Kenya. I am a New Life distributor, very, very excited. I've been here for a while. I am a veterinary technician by training. I know you've never heard of a vet technician. These are people who work on the ground with the animals and everything. And I've worked in the meat industry for a long time. So I understand a lot of about meat inspection, hygiene, and all those things that go with health. I joined this business because I needed some money, but when I joined, I realized I had some health issues. I was overweight. I was actually weighing 104 kilos. I had very, very chronic fatigue, very bad. I had very bad skin. And I don't know whether I said I had high cholesterol. So once I joined and I understood the products, then my first thing, what I did was take our products, which helped me to clear the cholesterol. And then after that, I was introduced to the detox program. And then I just went straight into the detox program, even before I did my weight loss. The good thing is that in weight, when you do a detox, like Margaret has very well described it, it helps in so many, many, many things. Because when I started at 104 kilos, I realized that after the detox, I lost about 2.5 to 3 kilos. What does that mean? It means I was carrying waste that was 2.5 to 3 kilos. So every time you are overweight, don't just think it's I don't know, people think it's the fat or it's what, but you must also consider you may be carrying some waste. So in my business, I've used detox as an introduction to weight loss and also skincare, because my skin completely cleared. I don't know whether you people can see my skin. And I'm over 60 years old. Actually, I'm going 65 years old by September this year. And my skin looks very, very wonderful. And since that time, many years ago, I have never had a problem. I don't apply anything besides New Life products. When I started, when you're taking the detox program, the other important thing is also to take a lot of water. We realize that we are told to take a lot of water, but we actually don't do it. But when you're on detox, you must learn how to take water, because as Margaret has pointed out, fiber requires a lot of water. You need a lot of water with fiber so that your stool can also be softened. Otherwise, you are going to have constipation. So, and in detox, you are going to take 2 times 3 fiber. It means you take a lot of water. And it's important to take the fiber before meals so that it actually helps you also not to eat too much. Or it also works with the weight loss. The other reason for water is Betagard. Betagard, you need a lot of water. If you're going to be taking 2 times 3 per day, Betagard, it can be heavy on you. Sometimes you can have dizziness. Sometimes you feel faint. So it's good to take a lot of water. But when you're on detox and you feel those symptoms, you can reduce the dosage from 2 maybe to 1, and then you go back. But 2 to 3 is the best. That means you'll need about 2 cans of Betagard. The other product also, Margaret, I think, didn't mention, is TNN. TNN is also very, very important because it clears it cleans your cell from the cellular level. So that's the beginning of the detox. Actually, with TNN alone, it can help you with the detox. So when I started using the products and I did the detox, my energy came back, because now I realized that after understanding well the products, I realized that all the waste that I've been carrying, it has been cleared. My skin is clear. My weight started coming back. And after the detox program, I did now the weight management program. And the weight management program also helped me now to lose the balance of the 16 kilos. And I lost 19 kilos in total. It was wonderful, and people could not even recognize me. They would pass me on the street. Margaret is my witness, because we were together that time. People would pass me on the street, and then they would wonder, who is this? Because before that, I used to be round. I used to say I was round, but they used to tell me I was square. I was looking so bad. My clothes were all, if I wear a dress, it used to hang on one side, and so on and so forth. So I'd recommend everybody to do detox because of that cleaning of your body. I wanted to just mention something that Margaret mentioned about meat or food processing. In meat or food processing, there's some elements that happen. There are things that happen during processing. There is a possibility of developing some bacteria or some infection in food, and in particular sausages, bacon, ham, and those. So in order to be able to control, there's an organism called Clostridium botulinum. To control Clostridium botulinum, we need to use a chemical to inhibit. So you see, we are producing a food that is producing an infection that we need to inhibit by using a chemical. So you can see that combination. So by use of nitrite, it has been controlled, but as of late, nitrate has been discontinued. There is an alternative. I cannot remember exactly, but it is being discontinued because of that element of being carcinogenic. So that is on this note that we always encourage people, avoid too much processed foods, particularly bacon. Even if you have to eat, don't make it a daily habit. I see some mothers even on Facebook saying, I want to give my child processed foods on your children. Is very bad because you start them very early on those problems. So they get infections, you know there are bacteria like E. coli, there's salmonella, and then the Clostridium that I mentioned, Listeria, all that. And now when you use detox, when you use garlic allium, it helps to clear that now from the small intestine. So I don't want to talk too much because of time also, but also I want also to mention that always avoid eating uninspected meat. Eat meat from sources that you know. Because if meat is uninspected, it means it was produced in unhygienic conditions. And the unhygienic conditions will give you the problems of those bacteria that you're going to get into your system. So let us all help each other by obeying the law, buy meat from places that are recognized, so that you're also on the safe side. But most of all, let us use our Neolife products to take care of our health. Let us help others by educating them on our products so that they may save their health. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ladies, I really, really appreciate your participation, your education of us. I think we are so much wiser now that we have learned about the detox and heard real life testimonies. I think this has been a real applied Neolife, if ever there was one. Thank you so much. And next week, I would like us to have a Q&A. So if we could have another discussion like we had recently, I'd really appreciate that.